Hello, my name is Rowan Eriksson. I'm a Gainesville local. I'm graduating from UF, emphasis in painting from a B.F.A. This is my senior show. I'm a portrait painter, and so I wanted to focus on Gainesville locals, and so all the paintings here are focused on the locals of Gainesville. This piece is called Guarded. It's oil on canvas. This piece, I wanted to show that the sitter, we had had this conversation about how they had gone through trauma and how they physically, mentally had to deal with that. And so they were talking about how they had built these barriers up and how they felt like they always had this something keeping people away from them. And so we kind of came up with this image. We worked together on it, and we came up with this image of this dog, kind of like this spirit almost, that's guarding them, protecting them while they heal from trauma, but also it's keeping people out. And so this was a two-part painting. These were the studies that I made for the painting. We were kind of working through ideas together. It started with this, came to here, and then we picked this pose, and then I kind of combined with we came up with this, but at first we were thinking like this, and originally we were thinking of the dog. It's kind of interesting. We started thinking of the dog first, how it's like your loyal, like your friend. The dog is representing like herself and how it betrays, she feels like it betrays her sometimes. And it's like you're supposed to trust like your dog, and then it attacks you, but then it turned into how it's become, it evolved from that. But I think especially after trauma like hers, it's, you feel like you feel like you had this part of you that was always open and friendly, but then you can't trust other people. And so your dog, it's like hurting you at the same time while protecting you. So this piece is the second piece from Guarded. This piece is called Restoration. So this is representing my friend after trauma, and how now they're kind of laying down their barriers and they're restoring like their psyche, their mental state. And so I decided to use forest after wildfire, and I like specifically chose pines too, because pines are a very adaptable species, and after fires they rarely die. It actually helps them. It helps them to release their seeds and grow new baby trees. And so I was just thinking about how my friend is very adaptable, and how they're restoring their space, and they're using what they have too. So this here, they're like using the regrowth to create something new, and so they're just, this will never be the same, like this landscape will never be the same, but it's gonna regrow anyway. So that's where I was thinking with it. And I used charcoal on it too. It's charcoal and oil. I wanted to show this landscape that's been devastated, but how it's adapting and it's coming back. So for me that was really important. And I wanted this kind of, their gaze is down. I wanted this kind of intimate moment of where they're building this daisy chain. And I also thought of like, I don't know, there's something about making a daisy chain. It's like your child kind of state. It's like you do something you do as a kid, and it's like time consuming but very rewarding. So I was thinking about that too when I was making it. And these studies too, we were kind of thinking about also. Like we went from actual fire to this. But this piece I was thinking about, there's a fire, you're in between, there's destruction and then there's growth here. So this piece, Reverse Tower, so I actually met her through the Gainesville community. They actually have the drawing groups here on Wednesdays. So she's an art model for that. And we just started talking, and then I ended up asking if she would pose. And I think it's so cool. I think you think you're so different, and then you realize that we're all so connected and similar. And like, we ended up finding out we had like the same childhood, like, which we had very strange childhoods too in Florida. And so it was like, we connected on that too. We were both homeschooled, and we had like these hippie parents, and like, so we ended up having so much in common. And we out of the conversation, we started talking about childhood, but also how these traumatic events kind of shaped who we are, and or how it's like we were forged, you know, out of this pressure into something. And I just find her, this image came about just talking to her, how she had almost drowned in a car when she was a child, and that really shaped who she is, the whole event leading up to it. And so I was referencing it was during a hurricane, and so I kind of referencing the actual memory, but I'm also referencing who she is, because she's out of her childhood, she's become this person who's very focused, and she's never moved by chaos. Like, she almost thrives on chaos. Like, everything can be crazy, and she's just totally calm. And so that's what I was thinking of when I made the image. And like, I also did this magnolia dress. She's from Florida, the South, you know. So this piece was, I knew I didn't want the chair to be distracting, but I also wanted it to be meaningful. So I guess I was thinking of, I have this chair, and it's kind of referencing a boat a little bit for me. So I thought it would work with on the water. It's like she's on the water. She has this like structure beneath her. It was just like ended up being perfect, I feel, because she has like, every tattoo she has is like referencing what we talked about. They're all from her memories. So it's like art within art, which I thought was kind of cool. It all like fit together. Like the whole piece was very cohesive because it was all about the same stuff. Well, my process is I work from life, and we talk, and I sketch while we're talking. And so like, these are some sketches I did while we were having a conversation. And then I'll start the painting, and then I might have a photograph to base it off too, so I work from both. And so I was just saying that this sketch from life, it was like, I feel like I really captured her expression at the time, like the conversation we were having. I just feel like her intensity is showing through. But she's like a very intense person, and so I love that sketch a lot, but that's usually how I work. I make a lot of studies. So this piece is called Transfiguration. It's actually of my sister. So I thought about this piece because she's going through, she's transitioning right now, and I just felt like she's going through this metamorphosis right now, like physically and mentally, and I wanted to capture her expression of this kind of like she's at peace, like she's finally being who she really is and who she's always felt like she's been. And like, it's just been for me like such a joy watching her, because she's like how she was when she was a kid, like just full, like ever since she's transitioned, she's like gone through this, like she's come as a butterfly. She's like a butterfly. She just totally changed. Now she's like a kid again, like just full of life. And it just makes me so happy to see her. And so I just wanted to make this piece about like with her emerging from these butterflies. So it's like a symbol, you know, for transformation and becoming something new, but also something you were always supposed to be. Like, it's not like she's changed herself and she's to something she wasn't supposed to be before. It's like she was meant to be this. So yeah, and I wanted to kind of capture her personality too. She's kind of like, she's so funny. She has like a little Walkman. She's like way too young to know what the Walkman is, but she's like, I want a Walkman. And then she's also like, has her little necklaces, Bionicles. Do you ever play with them? She's kind of a nerd. She's like, they're like Legos kind of, and she made a necklace out of it. And so like, she's a little quirky, and so I just wanted to show that in the painting by adding little details. But yeah, I definitely wanted that kind of serene look where she's looking off too. It's not like she's confrontational with the gaze. She's looking off kind of to her future. Mm-hmm. So the studies, again, I do those sketches from life, and then I start working with photographs and combine. But these, I was thinking of the composition, how I wanted the butterflies. And I also thought about this, because I was also influenced, I was thinking of the legend of Cupid and Psyche, and how it's basically just a metaphor for the union between mind and body. And so I felt like that's what she's going through, is like she's unifying how she feels with her body. And so that's partly why I chose butterflies too, because that's a symbol. And I had the dove there. That's like the symbol of Cupid and Psyche. So I was like thinking from mythology also at the same time. But in this piece, I was kind of just thinking about this one was a little more lonely feeling, so I didn't go with that. But yeah, I decided to do closer for more of like, because I wanted it a little more intimate, where it's more like you're sitting with the person instead of they're far away, which is what that one is like. I'm always like, I have many, I'll see someone and I'm like, I really want to paint them, but I have all these ideas, and so I try to like pick which one I feel like works the most. And sometimes I start whole new paintings, so, which has happened with this one actually. So like I'll be like, oh, that's a separate painting, but that's how I work. Just having lots of separate ideas and kind of refining that.